You're listening to the Super League Pod, coming up on episode 161 of your favourite Rugby League podcast. We have all your feedback and shout-outs, news from around the world of Rugby League, where we take an in-depth look at the recently announced Dream Team. We look back over the Super 8s and the qualifiers with the semi-final lineup already established. We also bring you our previews and predictions for the semi-finals, the £1 Million game and the NRL Grand Final. And just to give you a heads up, it's a piece of piss, the quiz this week. Strap yourselves in, kids. It's time for your Rugby League podcast, the Super League Pod. Okay, everyone, welcome along to the Super League Pod, episode 161. Mark, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Thomas.
You doing all right?
Yeah.
You can barely maintain eye contact.
I'm fine. I'm
doing
okay.
all right?
Yeah, how about yourself?
I'm fine, mate. I've had a season of crushing disappointment. I was hoping to
You've had a decade.
I've had a decade of... Well, it wasn't crushing at the early part of the decade. Yeah. It was more frustrating. It's grown into it was crushing in the middle, and now it's just kind of abjectly... We just accept it now. Disappointment's the norm.
Well, it's our worst season for, what?
Since the relegation?
9 to 10 years, really. 10 years,
but more
I suppose, but not... Well, 11 years, really, isn't it? 2006, really. But
we kind of bundled into the podcast with me just giving you shit, really. But welcome everyone to the Super League Pod. Tom and Mark here, as always, ready to cast our eyes over all things Rugby League. What have we got coming up before we get into each other's weeks? What have we got coming up on the show?
Not as much feedback and shout-outs this week. There was a very, very long conversation at the start of just after last week's episode, all about the rules and stuff. But I think we ended up all circling around and agreeing on the things we disagreed with and disagreeing on the things we agreed with, and it just kind of was the same conversation we've had before. So I didn't put much of that into the feedback and shout-outs. But if you want to go and check out our timeline, our replies, tweets and replies section for about Tuesday morning-ish, you'll see a whole host of those. But yeah, so I've not put loads of that in, but there's loads of news, mostly centred around the awards that were going on last Monday when we were doing our show for the Kingston Press Leagues, and then the announcement for Man of Steel and the Dream Team. So that's a lot of stuff to go through there. And then obviously how things finished up in the Super League, Super 8 and the qualifiers, which we've already spoiled. For those who haven't already revelled in joy at Wigan's capitulation and celebrated their own side second to that, then good stuff.
There you go. Okay, we've got a quiz lined up as well. Is it all Dream Team
related? It's going to be very good. I was tempted to sort of sneak in a few hints in my tweets today, and see if you came across them, but I didn't get around to it, basically.
Fair enough. Okay, so how's your week been?
I've not done much.
Steady away.
Yeah.
Fair play.
I hung out with a baby.
You hung out with a baby? Oh, is this Baby Grace?
Yes.
Very nice.
And that's pretty much it. Literally not done very much at all.
Not make you feel broody at all? Not make either one of you feel broody at all?
Not for keeps.
Not for keeps, just for borrows is.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I was good. Sorted the baby right out.
Hey.
Guys, didn't
you were a bit of a baby whisperer when Erin was little, I seem to recall as well, though.
I'm good with kids, I think.
There you go.
I'm used to them, aren't I? I've grown up with lots of younger siblings and stuff.
Yeah, true.
And nephew and niece and nephew now as well. Yeah.
There you go.
Loads of them. So what about you?
That the highlight then?
That was the highlight of a very...
Held a baby.
Not watching anything other than reruns on TV of simple comedy shows and zoning out of the world, really.
Fair enough. That's
what about you?
Very good week. Just a normal week at work. And then Emma and I took the kids to Blue Planet Aquarium down in Cheshire on Saturday and had a mooch around Cheshire Oaks as well. Had a very... Well, not odd, but very intense experience in Build-A-Bear. I had my first ever experience of Build-A-Bear, taking Erin in and building her a bear. They're all very enthusiastic. You would expect them to be.
The staff?
Yes, very not the bears. They're all very enthusiastic, and it's brilliant for little girls and children to go there. It was a bit much for a slightly more world-weary and cynical version of a human being that I present as. But Erin had a lovely time there. And then on Sunday went up into the hills for a walk and explore with nature, and did a bit of a treasure hunt with the kids as well.
Beacon Fell.
Beacon Fell.
Hills. Beacon Fell.
It's a hill? Is it? Is it not a hill?
You basically drive to the top and then walk past some wood sculptures.
Look, you smug twat. I'm not saying that we were doing what you and Emma do. Which
it's a very nice family. It's a very nice family country park.
It was a lovely afternoon, and
there's lots of stuff for kids, isn't there?
Absolutely, it was good fun. We can't be dragging.
Don't they have a gruffalo somewhere?
No, I think that's from down there. They had some other animals and stuff up, and there was a big owl, and there was a big wasp, and there was a snake and stuff. So it was good.
Yeah.
But we can't be dragging an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old up Scarfell Pike, Mark. It's just not going to end.
It's been a long time since I dragged a 32-year-old up there.
There you go. Exactly right. So that's been my week, and it's been lovely. Who's been getting in touch with us?
We start with Cutthroat Jake. He said, "Great podcast again this week. I agree with Scoots 28 Mac. The responsibility should be the attackers to keep hold of the ball."
There you go.
So this is back to the whole knock-on stuff. So obviously John hadn't been involved in that conversation before, so I've thrown his view in there, and then I can't remember where we ended up.
No, I think we go round and round, don't we, really?
Yeah. I think we need to park that one for now, because I can't remember where
Let's put a pin in it.
Yeah. Although, last thing we put a pin in was Yorkshire puddings.
Yes.
And then the hog roast people in York came up with
the Yorkshire pudding wrap.
Phenomenal looking piece of stuff.
Culinary delight.
Sarah Mackenzie at Scoots28 Mac, previously mentioned. She said, "An excellent episode, perfect accompaniment for a Tuesday afternoon doing the housework or crocheting."
There you go.
There you go.
That's it. We're the perfect accompaniment to a lot of things. I think dinner music can be disregarded and replaced with the Super League pod. We accompany people all over the country in their cars and on trains and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if we've ever been playing while people have been getting it on.
Not on purpose, I would assume.
You never know. You never know.
I know, Tom.
You never know. If you've shagged to Super League Pod, why not tweet us? Tweet the show. Do you remember people used to send us pictures of like where they were listening to it?
Yeah, that was the early start of this year. It was great.
It was a good little feature. That excellent.
Alan Walker.
I'll leave it with you guys.
Paul Walker said, "Great ep. No surprise. No surprise that there was a great ep. That's nice for you, Alan." He said, "You mentioning Joshua reminded me about the membership sponsorship idea. Any news in terms of the specifics of the one that Langer's sorted out with everyone's donations?" Earlier this year, I believe that money's gone towards next year's kit.
Right.
For Joshua's, it'll be under 9s, I guess, next year.
Yes.
So expect him to be demolishing opposition, running forwards and putting wingers into touch and stuff, wearing that gear next year. And then in terms of, Alan mentioned like a wider thing about having a sort of sponsorship pot. And that sort of thing. It's probably something for us to think about whether we can deal with the admin over the off season, and come up with a new idea next season, something like that. And then in terms of other sponsorship stuff, we haven't really done any charity stuff.
No,
this year, have we?
Not really. No.
But
we've sponsored. It's not charity. We've sponsored it. Obviously, we're very proud to be associated with the Tailored Trojans,
who had a fantastic debut season in Southwest Rugby League, and
I'm not saying it's exclusively down to our backing.
We'll be on the training gear again next year, won't we?
We will, yes.
And as part of that, so we'll hope to keep in touch with those guys down there, Barry and Malcolm, and all the guys. We haven't, but other people involved in the podcast in roundabout ways have been doing lots of stuff. And Dom completed his year's worth of running, and he's close to his £2,000 charity budget, charity target. After running as various Disney princesses through the streets of Disneyland Paris.
Don't you say you should try and challenge yourself if you're going to raise money? And it doesn't look like Dom is having the worst time ever.
I think he struggled. He did a was it a 10 mile or a half marathon or something like that? Again, another half marathon, and I think he did 3 runs in 3 days. So I think he has had a bit of a tougher go.
What I mean to say is that,
but he's been enjoying himself at Disney in his recuperation.
That's what I mean to say. Yeah.
Is the website rundom.run?
Yes.
Or just go on Dom's Twitter at the Hodge.
It can get very confusing with the whole rundom.run thing. It's a bit tricky. Maybe, well, for me it is. But if you follow his...
Yeah, at The Hodge on Twitter, if you want to donate and get him up towards his £2,000 target now that he's completed all his runs in some hilarious...
costumes.
Yeah.
Superb.
Okay, Brian Davies said, "Don't worry, lads, the last sentence on the ref email was aimed generally at people who moan about refs, not about you two."
I should have thought so.
Yeah, and hopefully more and more increasingly, not about any of our listeners, because we'll all have taken the approach that refs are bent.
Yeah, you're all drinking the Super League pod Kool-Aid.
Yeah, because, we respect the refs even if we don't think that they're always spot on.
Yeah.
Sarah McKenzie again at Scoot28Mac. This came up a couple of times. I think Dr. Bob was another one who mentioned this one, Tom.
I wasn't even doing it on purpose.
Has anyone noticed just how much Tom Crook yawns during the Super League pod?
I'm very bored.
It seems to have increased in recent weeks. # more sleep needed. Now, a few people suggested what it might be that's causing the sleep deprivation or the yawning, or
there was some thinly veiled ones, weren't there? No, I'm just a bit tired from work. I think sometimes. I think it depends on how my week's been or how my weekend's been. Normally, when I've been at my most yawnsome, it's fallen on the back of a hangover sort of induced weekend. But last week I was not hungover. I was just a little bit tired. I worked very hard and was a bit tired. But I started taking.
I didn't even notice
iron tablets to boost me up a little bit, and they've helped.
Right.
Just to kind of give that pep. Bob will get in touch.
For those at home listening,
absolutely pointless.
Tom sort of shook his upper body.
I did. Well,
effervescent King of the Bears style.
I'm exceptionally effervescent.
So he is lively and awake despite that long yawn that came in there. Lee Whitnell at L Whitnell said, "My grand final tickets arrived today, which reminds me, are we sorting out an SLP pint?"
Yes, we will, but let's not do it right now during the show. Let's you and I work out what we're going to say to people and then say it.
I was going to say, can't someone else organise it? Then we'll turn up.
Well, that was going to be my suggestion off air. To be perfectly honest, why don't we outsource it?
So we can't do that on the show then, so everyone hears it.
Why don't we outsource it, a la the Instagram account? Because that seems to have panned out quite well.
It's done roaring success when I check in to make sure Rob's not, overstepping the line too far.
Yeah, follow Super League Rod. Super League Rod is a completely different Twitter account. Yeah. Not one for the faint of heart.
So we will try and sort something out. We will both definitely be there. We already have our tickets. They arrived, Tom. Did I tell you?
Do you have any spare ones?
No, I bought me and you a ticket.
Okay, cool.
Do you remember we discussed this?
I remember you saying you bought tickets.
Yeah.
Cool. Who are you going to be cheering on? Out of the 4 teams that are there, who do you want to get through?
Well, after the nature of the weekend... probably Leeds. Castleford.
Right.
I think we've all enjoyed watching Castleford this season, and I hope that Castleford go on to win it, and that Rob remains bearable.
I think we'll get one of the two of those things. I don't think there's a Venn diagram that exists where we live in the middle of that, but hey, there you go. He would be very, very entitled to it, I reckon.
But I'll be a tiger for the day, shall we say? Tiger. Not massively, to be honest. I won't be invested too much in the outcome.
I'm not getting a kit.
Whichever side gets there.
I'm not buying a kit, but I'll be cheering. I'll be cheering for Cass.
Gets there. But
if they get
Cass have to beat St Helens first, and we'll talk about that later in the show.
Yes, you will.
Dr. Bob Phillips. He said, "Things may be full of knowledge on the NHS, on the @NHS Twitter account this week, but I'm none for 27 on the Super League Pod quiz this week. Shamed." Yeah, for those of you that didn't know, which I don't think will be anyone who follows the show in detail and gets around our social media, Dr. Bob has been selected as one of the doctors in the NHS who have given running the NHS Twitter account for a week.
Yeah.
So last week was his week, and he was filling people with lots of knowledge and understanding about how they diagnose, treat, follow up, the cancers in the children and teenagers and stuff that he deals with as a specialist, answering all range of stuff, throwing out his little bits of trivia and his quizzes and his polls, what have you. Dr. Bob just rules, basically.
Yeah, he absolutely does. I scrolled back on, what night of the week was it, when I was quiet, Saturday night, through some of the things he's put out there, and I've seen some other pictures today as well of Bob at work and kind of the kids he comes into contact with, and it's a pleasure to have someone like him associated with the show, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think it's fabulous the work that the whole